Hello guys, welcome to another video on Blue Tech Empire Python tutorials. In this video, we are going to be writing a simple program. We are going to be writing the program together, so you actually see how coding is done most of the times. You see our mistakes and how we correct them. And this program is basically an expenditure recorder. You know, you can use it to record your expenditures. Just like some kind of a simple one, because a real expenditure recorder will actually use a database. So let's dive into the now, like I said, a real expenditure recorder will normally use a database to save items. So when we study database, we may rewrite this program, but this expenditure recorder will stay alive while your interactive prompt is on. In case you turn your interactive prompt off or you close it, you have to restart all over again. So it's a simple one because it does not save the your records in a database. It just runs, save your record while the program is still running. If you close the program, everything is lost. So we call it a simple expenditure like recorder or a simple expenditure tracker. So let's get directly into the code. Now we're going to write in a very simple code using Visual Studio Code. If you like Visual Studio Code and you don't have it on your machine, you can watch our video where I explained how you can install Visual Studio Code on your machine and set it up for Python. Visual Studio Code is a very good idea. You know, it's good IntelliSense and everything. Code hinting, code completion, and all those very good things every programmer likes. So now let's go directly into the program. We're going to file, new file. We're saving our file as on the desktop. Saving our file on the desktop. Now the name of the file, you can call it expenditure recorder. All right, so expenditure recorder. Now from let's save it on the desktop as Python. Let's look for Python, yeah. All right, so it's on the desktop, it's Python program. Now let's create a comment for this program can be used to record your expenditure, and later you can display your old transactions or your old expenditure. All right, so that may not be a proper comment, but let's just use that for now. So our expenditure calculator will normally be saved. We will use it. We have a total of 0. We can add items to that total, or we can credit our whatever, our bank or our purse or our wallet, and we can withdraw from our debit our wallet. So we're going to have a function for credit wallet or deposit into wallet. We're going to have a function for withdraw from wallet, show balance, show transactions, and clear transactions. So we're going to write that first. As you can see, we have withdraw, 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 or let's say debit. Let's call it debit wallet, and we use def. We're going to learn functions later, but this can be your basic introduction to functions. Functions start with def, and you see they have a bracket, the name of the function followed by parentheses or followed by brackets, and then we have a colon. Then the body. In the body, we're going to write pass for now because we don't have anything in the body, and you can't leave the body of a function empty or Python is going to bitterly generate an error. So we use pass for the meantime because later on we're going to fill it with something important. So we have def credit wallet and pass, and we have def show balance show balance balance, and we have pass. So let's have def again, we have def show transactions or show, yeah, transactions, and we can say pass. Now we have the last one, def um clear transactions. You want to clear, because this can be in a database, so sometimes you may want to clear all your transactions for a whole new set of transactions, or you can want to create in a real program, you can want to create a new transaction history so they can stop adding or subtracting from the old one. So create transaction, we still have pass. Now we have a main function where every stuff is started. Main, here is where we're going to write most of the work, do most of the work. We Now we use pass. Now lastly, we can do a test to know if this program is running within a module or it's running on its own directly from the command line. So we usually use if main, if name equal to, we have, usually we say main, main, we call now the main function. So now here is what we do. Now let's we have our wallet. We're going to say wallet wallet balance. Now see what we're going to be doing. Wallet balance should just simply be a float. Initially it's zero, and we have what we call transactions. Now we have different type of transaction. We're going to call, one is going to be credit, two is going to be debit, and so on. One is going to be credit and two is going to be debit. So this should be a list. We're going to be adding tuples within it. So you're going to see how it's going to work. But now let's just leave it that way. Now we have balance. Now let's debit our wallet, or let's start with credit. Let's cancel this. Now let's start with debiting our wallet. To debit our wallet or crediting our wallet, we just need to add money to the wallet and then save it in the transaction. Like I said, one is credit and two should be debit. So let's put it, the key one, or let's say hash implies one implies debit credit, credit, and two implies debit. We're gonna see where I'm going to be using the one and two. So for now, let's just say credit. To credit the wallet is simple. We just need to add the amount. Credit, we have the user is going to pass an amount, and the amount must be greater than zero or greater than zero. Yes, yes. If um or let's have display menu. We are going to have what we call the last function here is going to be display menu. Def display menu, because we need to, so we're going to pass, so yeah, so now if amount is less, is not, or let's just say less than one, or let's say if amount is not, if not amount greater than zero, yes, if not amount greater than zero, if, then we're going to tell the user invalid, print invalid input, amount must be greater than zero. Amount must be greater than zero. And you're going to go back to the, remove this stuff from here. You're going to go back to show invalid input. Amount must be greater than zero. Yes, invalid amount must be greater than zero. Invalid amount. So next we're going to go show, not show balance, or no, show menu, show display menu. So display menu, call back display menu. You're done. If not, we're gonna say else. In this case, we're just gonna add wallet balance. We use the assignment operator plus equal to amount. So take note, wallet balance is a float. So we're gonna be whatever the user enters. Okay, so wallet balance plus equals amount. So what do you say? Wallet is not defined. All right, so since wallet balance is external, we're going to use what we call the global keyword, global wallet balance. So we're going to learn that later on when we talk about scope, variable scope. For now, that's when we learn functions. We're going to learn about variable scope. So you just need to say this just indicates wallet is outside, it's a global variable so that we can use it within a function, or else we can't use it within a function. So now let's work with debit. It's also going to enter an amount you want to debit. All right, debit amount. Now we're going to have later on we're going to have a menu, but for now let's just work with these functions. We're going to correct them later on. Credit wallet is checks if not amount is greater than zero, it prints invalid amount must be greater than zero. Now display menu, or else it debits account and then needs to record it. All right, so transaction, what we do is we add it to transaction and we use one for credit. So we're just gonna say new transaction equal to, we have a tuple, we just say one and amount. This is how we're gonna be saving our transactions. We'll see how we will use it. So we're gonna say transactions, sorry, transactions, transaction dot append new transaction. So that's what we're going to do now. Debit, when the user wants to debit, we need to check if the user has that balance. So we're going to say um, temp balance equals to um, let's say normally you cannot withdraw zero. So we first check from like we did here. We check here if amount is not greater than zero, we print invalid amount must be greater than zero, display menu. Else if else, okay, we continue, we don't even need else. Yes, else, let's use else. Now else we're going to do some other stuffs. We check if we have a amount amount we want to check the temp amount. We want to subtract the amount from our total. In fact, we need to even see what we call wallet balance. Wallet balance, global wallet balance. So we need to do what we did the last time, global wallet balance. So we need to say temp amount equals to wallet balance minus amount. Now we are checking. We now check if temp amount, because if it's a negative, it means the user does not have insufficient balance or insufficient balance. So you say you just tell the user insufficient balance, cannot withdraw amount. All right. So if temp amount is less than zero, it means the user has insufficient balance. So if temp amount is less than zero, you see we are using most of the operators we learned. So if temp amount is less than zero, tell the user why we say display menu. Why is it not display menu? Is it not a function? Looks like you have a mistake somewhere. All right, because of this. Okay. Okay. So if temp amount is less than zero, tell the user print um let me see, print insufficient balance. I don't know if it's correct, the insufficient balance, unable to withdraw amount, uh, format format amount, sorry, we want the amount. Why is amount not showing now? All right, insufficient balance, unable to withdraw amount, insufficient balance, unable to withdraw amount. Else you say temp equals to this else, and we can insufficient. So in this case we will also call display menu. Else in this case now, what we do is, since everything is good, we can now subtract and record. So we now have temp balance, or we have wallet balance minus equal to, the other time we use plus equal to, here is minus equals to amount. And we're going to record. You said, remember I said we'll use two, so we have new transaction equal to, used equals to 2, and we have amount. I said 2 is for a debit, so we're going to say transaction dot append new transaction. So now we are not using global. Remember, transaction is a global variable, but we are not using global like we did for wallet, because we are only assigning to it. We are not modifying it like completely. In this case, since we had to modify, Python does not allow us to modify a global variable from within a function. But you see, a list we can actually modify, because the list is still the same memory location since it's immutable. Since it's mutable, it's possible we just adding items behind. We are not assigning this transaction to a new variable. We are not like modifying the global variable. So there's a reason for that. Just understand, you can't assign to a global variable from within a function if you don't use the global keyword. Yeah, but we can do it with a list, because we're just appending stuff to the back. We ain't changing really anything much. So let's move. Next we have the Okay, so next we have debit account. After all this, we need to call display menu. So we don't even need this. Since after all this, we need to call display menu, we just need to put display menu at the end here. Yeah, that's end here. Yeah. Or you don't even need to put it here. We can even remove this. Since after everything, display menu is, you can put it here. You can put it here, because if this happens, this will happen, and this will be skipped, and this will happen. So if this happens, it's also coming. Yeah, so let's put display menu at the bottom of this. So let's see, even here we need to do it too. After everything, you need to display menu, so we can put it at the bottom here. Okay, so let's use space so we know it's actually at the end. So let's see, wallet transaction will append new transaction will append new transaction, and you see we use two for debit. So let's move to the next function. Show balance is simple. We're just gonna print. We're gonna do some styling, balance, balance this, and continue our styling. So in this case, what we want to do is we have to use dot format, and we're gonna pass balance, wallet balance, wallet balance. So okay, we're done with that. Now show transaction. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to do for transaction. We have to go through these transactions. We have to go through these transactions lists. Normally, I'm not testing the function as I'm writing, because I know it's correct. It's not a very complicated program, so I don't need to test it. But I may still see some errors when I start testing. So for now, let's just try to be fast. Now, show transactions. We're going to say for we transactions. All right, transactions. So we say for transaction in transactions. Now we have a current transaction. Current transact is equal to, it's a tuple. In fact, we don't even need it, because current transaction, remember, this is a tuple of the form key, not really key, but the first item is the key and the second item is the amount. And remember, in this case, we said we're using 1 for credit and 2 for debit. So we're going to check, let's say, let's just say type, T type, transaction type equals to transaction, the first index is 0, and transaction amount equals to transaction, transaction, and the second key. So now we can check if T type equal to 1. We know it's a credit. So we're going to print credit or deposit. Let's say deposit, deposit, and then we print the amount dot format was how much. We now use a T amount. Now else we'll print, we'll print else we can say elif t equals to 1 just to make sure everything is okay, or we know that if it's not 1 is 2 because we just have 2 times bet. We can just write elif t. Can copy this elif. You may not need to put this bracket, it's usually in C where we do all this, but you can still put it if you want. elif elif t type equals to 2. We know it's a debit. Print t amount, so we're going to say print withdraw or deposit or withdraw, or let's say deposit. We are now debit or deposited, um, withdraw, withdraw. Right, so let's add display menu here. After all, we should always display menu after every stuff. So now in this case, let's see we are okay. For transaction in transaction, T type transaction 0, T amount. If T type equals to 1, it's a deposit. Yeah. If it's the T type equals to 2, it's a withdraw. So you say withdraw this, deposited this. All right. So I think it's okay. Mm, let's say show transaction. Let's see. We can also add total withdraw, total deposited. Yeah, let's also add that. So we can add what we call T total W equals to 0 and total deposit equal to 0. Now we're gonna let's round this. Oh well, let me see. Okay, let's just leave it like that. So let's now be calculating this. If it's a withdrawal, we're gonna add it to total withdrawal. So we're gonna write total withdraw plus equal to T amount. T amount. If it's a deposit, sorry, if it's a deposit, we're gonna use total D. Yes. If it's a withdrawal, we're gonna use total W. So everything is good. All right, so we can just print now a message here. After all, we can say print message again. Print. You can say total deposited is this equal to something, and total withdrawn equal to something. So in this case, we can put dot format. We can use the first one is T deposit, T deposited, and the next one is T amount. Total deposited, and the next one is total withdrawn. All right, so I think in this case it should be complete. Yeah, we have yeah, else if t yeah, okay. So now we now can now print display menu. Just a cool program. All right, so let's now clear transaction. Clear transaction. We should normally in fact, clear transaction will just pop out every stuff, so we don't affect the list. So let's pop out every stuff from the list. While we're gonna use a while loop, while length of while the length of the list is still of this transaction list is greater than while length of transactions is greater than zero, transaction greater than zero, just pop out transactions dot pop. Yeah. So let's do like that. Yeah. So it's going to empty the list. Then let's display menu. Now display menu will be a bit maybe a bit long, but not that long. We just need to create a menu items. Let's have what we call a menu items list. So we have menu items. We're going to use a dictionary to make life easy for us. So it's going to be a dictionary with key value pairs of one, for example, um, should be credit wallet. Um, two should be um, withdraw draw from or withdraw amount or withdraw. Let's just say two to withdraw to credit wallet, withdraw to credit wallet to withdraw amount. Let's just say withdraw amount. And let's go to three. Three should be what's the third stuff? Or let's say debit wallet. Let's say now three should be show balance, show transaction, and clear transaction. All right, so show balance, show transaction. So we have show balance, show transaction, and we have the last one is 5. So clear transactions. Now credit wallet, debit wallet, show balance, show transactions, clear transactions. So we're good to go. We have a dictionary. Is that the last? Let me check. Clear transaction or all right, display menu is not part of the menu items. So everybody calls after this we have display print transaction list cleared, and we're gonna say display menu again. You have to just make sure display menu is after every stuff here. All right, so to display menu is easy. We're gonna use a dictionary. You're gonna see how it's done. Display menu. Let's see. So we're gonna say for key um value in menu items. Now we're gonna print a very nice list. Here is gonna be done. So we first have the number followed by this, then we have the name of it, then let's see, followed by comma if let me see all right, so dot format. So the first item is key, then we have the value. You're gonna see what this does. So now we have to have something like a tracker, cn equal to 0, which will be tracking as it goes from one point to another. So we start from the first item. So if this is the last, we add a colon if it's not the last, we add a semicolon. So you see what I'm going to do. Now let's end this with a end equals to empty line, so it does not print a new line. Now you see what I'm going to do. If cn equal to then menu items print n else print print yeah, print comma space n n. All right, so now let's see after this, let's see what happens now. Main should just call display menu. Display menu. All right, so in this case now we have to check. Now the user end, we ask the user now for a menu item. Display menu, now we ask the user to show, to select, make enter selection. So print and enter selection. Initially, usually we want to do this at the top. Print enter selection. And enter selection. So we do this, and now we get the selection from user. We call it u input equal to inputs. You get, since we already showed the user a prompt, we don't need to enter. Now you have to check if not u input in menu items. You understand, the user needs to enter 1 2 3 if it's not part of the menu items. Remember, when you use the in operator with a dictionary like we learned, it actually goes through the key. So we'll be checking keys to make sure the user enters either 1 or 2, 1 up to 5. If you input not in menu items, then we'll tell the user invalid input means invalid input. So valid input, then we say try again. All right, so else, now else parts, and the else part, we're gonna, if the user enters a valid input, now we're gonna check, we're gonna actually print, do what the user wants, and then later we're gonna print the menu, display menu again. So the best thing is, instead of calling display menu here, let's call it like, let everybody do what they do. Display menu is going to be called from display menu itself. So let's forget about putting display menu here. So we're free now. You can remove display menu from here. Display menu is going to call itself, so it makes life easy for us. Now else, what do? We use now if, let's say if u input equal to, we have to follow all the keys, pass. We're going to fill it in after, just like we did for the function u input. Now programmers always copy, so we're going to say pass. So now we're going to copy this a couple number of times. I think we have 5 input. So we're going to say 1 2 3 4 and 5. So in this case, we want to fill it now as it must be 1 2 3 4 4 5. Let's check if we have just 5 to be sure. All right, so the first one is, let's check, to make life easy for us, we can just copy this stuff here. Yeah, we're gonna wipe it after. Just programmers do that most of the time, but don't forget to Let's put it as a comment so we don't forget. Or another way of doing block comments in Python is just to like put this within, sorry, put this within three. Yes, and put it here. Yeah, so you can do like that. So we just want to look at what function to call. One is credit wallet. Two is debit wallet. Show balance. This is show transaction, and this is clear transaction. And now wipe this so we don't forget. All right, so in this case now, clear transaction, we have everything set. After that, it's going to call itself again, just normally. It's going to call itself again. After everything, you have to say, what's the name? Display menu. Stop. So let's see. Now, let's call display menu here. So let's see if our function runs properly. Now, I want to add item. What's this? Edit item. No. This is an old program running, so cancel this and try to run again. Enter price for all right. So CLS. Yes. So we're gonna clear. Um. All right. Let's try to run it now. See the desktop line. Okay. They say there's a mistake somewhere. Trace bar key. Not enough values to unpack. Line 62. Why? For key values in menu items. Menu items. Key value. Key value. What's the problem? All right. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. So it's correct. 60 something. Where is it? Oh, all right. For key value, okay, it just takes only key. When you iterate a dictionary, you have only the key. Sorry, that was a mistake. My mistake. Now we're gonna write this is gonna be key, and we have menu items key. Menu items key. Key. So I think it's okay now. Let's try to run it. Okay, credit wallet. Mm. Let's see. We have a mistake too. Yeah. Now I said if cn equals to len, cn. Okay, I did not add. I had to increment cn by one. Cn plus equal to one. So very important. All right, it's very important. So st st cn plus equals to one. I said if cn equal to len of menu items, print this, else print this. Cn equals to 1. So the first time is not going to be like, let's say, the last time. Let's see. Right, so let's just continue from here. We're going to fix that later on. Let's see if our list works properly. Our program works properly. So we're going to fix that later. So let's say end 1. It's a mistake. 1 missing. All right, so sorry, there's some mistakes here. We did a lot of mistakes. So first one, credit wallet, the user needs to enter amount. Print. Um, you need to say amount. You want amount. In fact, in here we just need to try and catch. If we catch any error in here, we're gonna pass. So and go back to display menu. So in this case, let's say let's look at something. All right, so let's say amount. Let's use try catch because we don't want to try except sorry try input or amount equals to input enter amount. Now we want to convert it to a float, yeah, float except the user enters a valid amount. We're gonna do this. Enter amount to um enter amount to deposit. Enter enter the amount you want to deposit. Enter the amount you want to deposit. So in this case, let's say the user enters some amount and then we credit wallet amounts. So simple. Now, if we have an exception, for example, maybe the user just entered some character or made a mistake, we're gonna write now print invalid amount, and that's all. It's going to go back to invalid amount. Right again, full stop. Invalid amount, try again, full stop. So we're gonna do that for credit and withdrawal. So let's do that for um debit also. For debit also, I know that you have changes to debit wallet. Now, in this case, to enter amount you want to withdraw. All right, so enter the amount you want to withdraw, debit wallet amount, invalid amount, try again. So show balance, show transaction, clear transaction. I believe all these ones should be fine. Let's check if we are good to go. Now, all right, everything prints well. I don't know why sometimes it behaves poorly because now we have the column here and it's fine. All right, so one, credit wallet, enter the amount you want to deposit. Let's say 100. Enter selection, show balance 3. Balance is 100.0. Very good. Let's say we want to credit wallet again. This time with 250. Enter selection, show balance 3. 350. Now let's give a wrong like 6. Invalid input, try again. Enter selection. I want to debit wallet. Now enter the amount you want to. Oh, debit wallet. Yeah, it's supposed to be enter the amount you want to withdraw. All right, so withdraw. Okay, I want to withdraw 100. So let's check now. Balance 3. Yeah, 250. It works perfectly. Let me credit 1 and enter amount you want to deposit. Let's say 400. Let me see balance. Show balance 3. Now enter selection. I want to check show transactions. You see, deposited 100, deposited 250, withdrew 100, deposited 400, total deposited 750, and total withdraw 100. Now let me keep adding. I'm going to the enter amount. Let's say 45. Let's enter some amount again. 490. Let's withdraw 2. Let's withdraw 30. Let's credit with 100. 1. Let's credit with 100. and let's withdraw let's say 400. um let's try to withdraw 10,000. Two, let's try to withdraw 10,000, which we don't have. um 100, 1, 2, 3, insufficient balance, unable to withdraw 10,000. So we see, so let's withdraw a better amount too. Let's withdraw 300. Okay, let's debit, let's put in 200. Now let's see transaction history, show transactions for. So you see deposited 100 and all those stuff. So here you see total deposited 1,500, total withdraw 0. Now let's clear transaction 5. 5. Transaction list cleared. Let's show balanced, or let's try to print transaction 4. Show transactions, total deposited 0 and total withdraw 0. Now we can enter selection back and withdraw to 200. We can enter and withdraw 300. We can enter 2 and withdraw 50. Okay, so enter the amount we want to withdraw. Let's check now transaction. Let's first check balance 3. Balance 930. Now let's check transaction history 3. 3. You see, it still maintains the normal transaction. When we clear the transaction, it did not clear the amount in our book. It did not clear the amount. That's clearing the clearing the transactions do not clear the total amount in our balance. You understand? It only just wipe the previous transaction. So now if we view transactions, let's say 4, you see it shows us how we deposited 200, 300, and we drew 50. But you see the balance, if you check the balance, you see it's 950 because we have cleared all the previous transactions. So that's all about our program. It's a brief list which you can use to actually really track your transaction, especially if you add database functionality to it. All right, so I just wanted to, at least we have used most of the operators we learned and a few other things. So see you in the next video where we're going to be looking at conditionals like the if statements and so on. All right, so have a nice time.